Let me ask you something very direct. Have you ever experienced waking up in the middle of the night with that annoying pain in your lower abdomen, rushing to the bathroom, and feeling that unbearable burning sensation when urinating? If the answer is yes, you know how much a urinary tract infection can turn your routine into real torment. It's a pain that doesn't warn you, that shows up suddenly, and often insists on coming back, even after treatments. And here's the point that few people mention. Has your doctor ever talked to you about the importance of vitamins in prevention? Maybe you've already taken antibiotics, teas, natural remedies, and for a while, you even felt relief. But the infection came back, didn't it? And that makes you wonder, is there a way to shield the body from the inside out, strengthen your urinary health, and prevent these crises from becoming frequent? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Throughout this video, I'm going to reveal the 7 vitamins that are almost never mentioned in medical offices, but that can be the key to preventing urinary tract infections in seniors. Vitamins that act as true guardians of your bladder and kidneys, helping to reduce inflammation, boost immunity, and make it harder for bacteria to act. And look, this isn't some miraculous promise talk. It's science, it's prevention, and it's quality of life for those who are already tired of living in this cycle of pain and fear of a new crisis. Before I continue, let me ask you something very important. This channel is growing, and the goal now is to reach 1,000 subscribers. So, if you're not yet part of this community, click the subscribe button right now. In addition, I need your help so YouTube can deliver this video to those who truly suffer from this problem. That's why I want you to leave in the comments the phrase, "I want to get rid of urinary tract infection." If we get at least 100 comments, this message will reach more people who need to know this information. Anyone who has faced a urinary tract infection knows how it can destroy quality of life. It's not just pain or burning when urinating, it's the feeling of being trapped in a cycle that never ends. You go to the doctor, get antibiotics, feel better for a few days, but soon the infection returns, sometimes even stronger and more resistant. And this repeats so many times that it starts to generate fear and insecurity. Fear of leaving the house, of traveling, even of sleeping peacefully. And for seniors, the impact is even greater. In addition to pain and discomfort, frequent urinary infections can damage the kidney, weaken the immune system, and even open the door to more serious complications. Not to mention the emotional toll, living constantly on alert, worried about whether the next crisis will appear in the middle of the night or at a moment when you don't have quick access to help. That's why this topic is so urgent, because most people only hear about medicine and antibiotics, but almost no one talks about true prevention, strengthening the body with nutrients that shield urinary health. And that's exactly what you're going to learn with me in this video. Have you ever stopped to think why? When you arrive at the doctor's office with a urinary tract infection, the first response is almost always an antibiotic prescription. It's as if the solution were just to put out the fire without looking at the root of the problem. The truth is that traditional medicine, although incredible in emergencies, is still very focused on treating symptoms, not preventing them. And here lies the big question. Why do almost no doctors talk about vitamins as a tool for protection? There are a few reasons. First, because appointments are usually quick, and the focus is on solving the immediate pain. Second, because there isn't much interest from the industry in investing in prevention campaigns with natural nutrients. There's no profit in saying that vitamin C, for example, can make it harder for bacteria to spread in the urinary tract. Third, because many people still think that vitamins are too simple to help with something as serious as a recurring infection. But those who have suffered know, when the same pain comes back once, twice, 5 times, the problem is not really being solved. The body is asking for reinforcement. And this reinforcement is not only in medicine, but also in giving the body the necessary conditions to protect itself. That's why I'm here, talking to you about this subject. Because there are 7 specific vitamins that act as guardians of urinary health. They strengthen the immune system, reduce inflammation, protect the bladder, and make it harder for bacteria to enter and multiply. But almost no one talks about them, and I want to break that silence. So stay with me, because from now on, I will begin to reveal them one by one, showing how these vitamins can be your allies in fighting and, above all, preventing urinary tract infections. It's time to talk about the first vitamin on this list, and perhaps the most well-known of all, vitamin C. You've probably heard about it when it comes to colds or immunity, right? But what almost no one mentions is that vitamin C can also be a powerful ally in preventing urinary tract infections. And do you know why? Because it has the ability to acidify the urine. This means that when you maintain adequate levels of vitamin C in the body, the environment in your urinary tract becomes much less favorable for bacteria to multiply. It's like you're making life harder for these invaders before they can cause damage. And let's face it, anyone who has felt that unbearable burning when urinating would do anything to prevent it from happening again. Another important point, vitamin C strengthens the immune system's response, giving the body more energy to recognize and eliminate harmful microorganisms. For seniors who naturally experience a decline in the production and absorption of some nutrients, ensuring good doses of vitamin C can be a game changer. And the good news is that it's within everyone's reach. Fruits like oranges, acerola, kiwi, strawberries, and even papaya are rich and easy-to-include sources in daily life. The secret is consistency. It's no use eating an orange today and forgetting about it for weeks. The body needs this fuel every day to build a natural barrier against infection. Now, pay attention. I'm not saying that vitamin C will replace medical treatment when the infection is already present, but it can be the key to preventing new crises. It's about strengthening the body so it can defend itself before you even need to rush to the ER. And this is just the first on our list. If vitamin C already does all this, imagine what the other 6 vitamins can do together for your urinary health. If vitamin C is the classic defense, vitamin D is the true shield of immunity. And here's a fact that many people ignore. Vitamin D deficiency is extremely common in seniors, and this may be one of the reasons why urinary infections keep coming back. Vitamin D is not just the sunshine vitamin. It plays a fundamental role in regulating the immune system. Think of it as the commander that organizes your body's troops to fight invaders. Without it, the soldiers, your defense cells, become disoriented, not knowing how to act effectively. The result? The body becomes vulnerable, and the bacteria that cause urinary infections find a much easier path to settle in. Studies show that maintaining adequate levels of vitamin D helps reduce the frequency of infections, including urinary tract infection. That's because it strengthens the body's natural barrier, increasing the ability to respond against microorganisms that try to invade the bladder and kidney. And what's most interesting is that despite being so important, many people simply don't get enough sun exposure to produce vitamin D. The body can synthesize it when you're in the sun, but as the years go by, that ability decreases. Moreover, the modern lifestyle, with little sun exposure, contributes to this deficiency. Food sources like fatty fish, salmon, sardines, eggs, liver, and fortified foods can help. But medical guidance is often necessary to assess the need for supplementation. Now, think about this. If your immunity is low, any opportunistic bacteria can take advantage. But if you strengthen your body with vitamin D, you create a barrier that is much harder to break. This means fewer crises, less pain, and more confidence to live your routine without fear of when the next infection will strike. And this is just the beginning. The next vitamin I'll reveal protects in a different way. It acts directly on the urinary tract mucosa, preventing bacteria from being able to stick to it. Now, let's talk about a vitamin that few people directly associate with urinary health, but that makes a huge difference. Vitamin A. You've probably heard that it's important for vision, but what almost no one mentions is the essential role it plays in protecting mucous membrane, including the urinary tract lining. And why is this so important? Because it's precisely this mucosa that functions as the first line of defense against bacteria. When it's intact and well-nourished, it creates a natural barrier that makes it harder for microorganisms to adhere to the bladder and urethra. Now, if this barrier is weakened, something common in seniors who are deficient in vitamin A, it becomes much easier for bacteria to settle and cause infection. It's as if vitamin A were the protective paint on a wall. Without it, the wall peels and becomes vulnerable to leaks. With it, the structure stays firm, protected, and resistant. And it doesn't stop there. Vitamin A also has anti-inflammatory properties, meaning it helps reduce the inflammatory process caused by recurring urinary tract infection. This translates into less pain, less swelling, and more comfort in daily life. The sources of this vitamin are accessible and can easily be included in the diet: carrots, pumpkin, sweet potatoes, mango, liver, and even dark leafy greens. But once again, the key is consistency. It's no use consuming it occasionally. The body needs this nutrient continuously to ensure urinary mucosa protection. And here's a thought. Many people go through life only treating symptoms, without realizing that the secret may lie in strengthening the body from within. Vitamin A is exactly that, a natural, silent, and effective reinforcement so your bladder doesn't become fertile ground for bacteria. If up to now we've talked about vitamins that act as barriers and shield, now we'll move on to a group that works as fuel: B-complex vitamins. You may have heard of them for energy and vitality, but the truth is that these vitamins also play a crucial role in preventing urinary infection, especially in seniors. Within this group, two stand out: vitamin B6 and vitamin B12. B6 helps balance inflammatory processes and is directly linked to the proper functioning of protein, fat, and carbohydrate metabolism. But even more importantly, it helps regulate immune system responses, leaving the body better prepared to fight the bacteria that try to settle in the urinary tract. Vitamin B12 is vital for the production of red blood cells and for strengthening nerves. And why does this matter here? Because a weakened body with low production of defense cells becomes much more vulnerable to urinary tract infection crises. Moreover, B12 deficiency is extremely common in seniors, as intestinal absorption of this nutrient decreases with age. And we can't forget that the B complex as a whole, including B1, B2, B3, and B9, keeps the metabolism active, ensures energy for the cells, and helps the body work in harmony. In other words, it's like giving your body high-quality fuel so it has the strength to act against invaders. The sources are varied: lean meats, eggs, milk, vegetables, whole grains, and even some legumes, like beans. The problem is that many seniors reduce their protein intake or have dietary restriction, which further increases the risk of deficiency. Therefore, ensuring adequate levels of B-complex vitamins is like fueling your body with energy, while at the same time activating natural defense mechanisms against urinary infections. If there's one vitamin that's almost never remembered when it comes to urinary tract infections, it's vitamin E. But don't be mistaken, it can be a key piece in your defense. Known as a powerful antioxidant, vitamin E protects cells against damage caused by free radicals, those unstable molecules that accelerate inflammation and aging. And what does this have to do with your urinary health? Simple. Every time an infection occurs, the body enters a state of inflammation. Vitamin E helps reduce this process, lowering oxidative stress and promoting the regeneration of bladder and urinary tract tissue. This means less pain, less discomfort, and faster recovery. Additionally, vitamin E also strengthens the immune system. For seniors who naturally face a decline in immunity, this reinforcement is essential to prevent bacteria from settling in and causing new crises. It's as if vitamin E were that efficient cleaner who tidies up the environment and makes it more resistant to invaders. Another important detail, vitamin E is directly linked to healthy blood circulation. This helps the kidneys and bladder receive nutrients and oxygen properly, keeping them balanced and less prone to recurring infections. The sources are easy to include in your diet: almonds, nuts, sunflower seeds, sunflower oil, avocado, and even spinach. But as with almost all vitamins, the secret is to maintain a regular and balanced intake. What many people don't realize is that small dietary adjustments can bring big results in quality of life. And vitamin E is exactly that: simple, accessible, and powerful, but constantly overlooked. We've now arrived at a vitamin that almost never comes up when it comes to urinary infections, but that can make a big difference: vitamin K. Generally, when we talk about it, most people only remember blood clotting, but the truth is that vitamin K goes far beyond that and can be considered a true surprise factor for urinary health. And how does that work? Vitamin K plays a fundamental role in blood circulation and kidney health. When the kidneys are working well, they filter blood better, eliminate toxins, and reduce the overload that encourages recurring infection. In seniors, who often already face some degree of kidney weakening, adequate levels of this vitamin help keep the urinary system better protected. Another important point is that vitamin K also participates in calcium balance in the body. This means it helps prevent excessive calcium buildup in the kidney, a factor that can increase the risk of kidney stone. And anyone who has suffered from kidney stones knows this can open the door to more inflammation and urinary infections. In addition, recent studies suggest that vitamin K has an indirect anti-inflammatory effect, helping control silent processes in the body that, if untreated, end up harming the urinary tract. It's as if it were a discreet guardian that doesn't draw much attention but keeps things in order behind the scenes. Vitamin K sources are accessible and varied. Kale, broccoli, spinach, lettuce, cabbage, liver, and even some vegetable oils. In other words, adding more greens to your plate not only strengthens bones and circulation, but can also contribute to a more balanced urinary system. And here's a warning: because it's rarely discussed, many people ignore the importance of vitamin K and end up leaving their body vulnerable without realizing. But now you know it's another piece of the puzzle of natural urinary infection prevention. We've reached the end of this journey, and now you know the 7 vitamins that almost no one talks about, but that can be powerful allies in preventing urinary tract infections in seniors. Vitamin C, D, A, the B complex, E, and K. Each of them, in its own way, helps strengthen the immune system, protect mucous membrane, improve circulation, and create an internal environment less favorable to the bacteria that cause so much discomfort. But the most important thing here is not to memorize the names of vitamins, but to understand the central message. Your body can be strengthened from the inside out. Many times, traditional medicine looks only at immediate symptoms and offers quick fixes like antibiotics. They are necessary in many cases, yes, but they don't solve the root of the problem. What you learned today is that there are natural, accessible, and safe ways to prepare your body to prevent the next crisis from happening. And think with me, how many times have you felt limited because of the pain, the thawt, burning, the urgency to run to the bathroom? How many sleepless nights? How many canceled plans because of a urinary infection that showed up without warning? If you're tired of living in this cycle, this is the moment to turn the key and start taking care of natural prevention. Now, I want to ask you for 2 things. First, subscribe to the channel. Our goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers, and I need your support so this content can continue reaching more people who suffer in silence. Second, leave in the comments the phrase, "I choose natural prevention." I need at least 100 comments so that YouTube delivers this video to more people who need this information. And remember, every comment, every like, every subscription is a way of spreading knowledge and helping someone who, just like you, is looking for a life with less pain, more freedom, and more quality of life. In the next video, I'll reveal which inflammatory foods may be sabotaging your bladder and increasing the risk of urinary tract infection without you even realizing. So turn on notifications so you don't miss it. You are not alone in this fight. Prevention begins with small choices, and today, you've taken a big step.